Top of the morning from the sports desk. Let's take a final look at our sporting headline for this morning, starting off with some Formula One news, where for the sixth round of the 2025 World Championship, Formula One returns to Florida for the Miami Grand Prix. Lights go out in Miami International Autodrome on Saturday, or rather on Sunday, the 4th of May. May the 4th be with you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The race, of course, will be the first of 3 Grand Prix in the United States this year, ahead of the event in Austin, Las Vegas, in the latter parts of the season. And of course, it comes in an exciting time for F1, as there's a new leader at top of the standings of the McLarens. Oscar Piastri picked up back-to-back wins in Bahrain and as well as Saudi Arabia. Well, of course, our wins for Max Verstappen and Lando Norris will also mean that the competition at that sharp end of the F1 is hotting up. The action in the Miami Grand Prix kicks off on Friday when cars will hit the Miami International Autodrome in Florida for the first practice session of the weekend. However, because of the weekend's packed schedule, with the inclusion of the sprint race, timing might be a little bit different to what you normally schedule and what you normally used to with regards to the Formula One race weekend. But as per usual, the main event will take place on a Sunday. Times might vary, especially considering it's taking place in America, so you might have to wake up a little bit earlier if you want to catch the race out here in Mzansi, South African time. I'll just give you an insight with regards to those times as we head in the latter parts of the week, Friday specifically, as to what time you can catch the Formula One race that takes place in Miami this weekend on Sunday. And then on to some tennis news. Iga Swiatek survived the scare against Diana Schneider to reach the quarterfinals of the 2025 Madrid Open. And of course, her latest win has brought more impressive stats. Of course, the 5-time major champion prevailed with a 6-0, 6-7, 6-4 against the world number 13 Estadio Manola Santana in the last 16 of the WTA 1000 clay tournament. The match was initially scheduled to take place on Monday, but of course, due to the major power cuts that affected Spain and Portugal respectively, has now caused the Madrid Open, or rather had caused the game to be suspended. And then on the other side, as far as the other court action is concerned, Mira Andreeva celebrated her big fourth round win at the Madrid Open on Monday. Although that she had to put things on pause for a huge celebration on Tuesday. Today, of course, on Tuesday, which marked Andreeva's milestone 18th birthday, a significant day for the Russian teen star, who of course electrified the WTA tour in recent years. In yet another impressive milestone for Andreeva, who of course will go for her 11th Open match when she faces against our 4th seed Coco Gauff in this afternoon's quarterfinal. Coco Gauff, of course, leads the head-to-head between the two with a 2-0 victory in that encounter. Although the pair have not met since the US Open back in 2023 rather, with the Russian having improved significantly since then. So we can all look out for a very, very impressive game, or rather entertaining game of tennis this afternoon, as Iga Swiatek takes on Andreeva. And then to give you a full insight as far as the main side is concerned with regards to the Madrid Open, Francis Tiafoe, of course, will be in action this afternoon against Italy's Arnaldi. That game kicks off around 1 p.m. This afternoon. Of course, later on around 4 p.m. this afternoon, Jack Draper will be on court against United States Thomas Paul. A very interesting game in that encounter as well. Of course, Alex de Minaur was also on court against Lorenzo Mosetti of Italy with a 9:30 kickoff. That kicks off this evening. And then of course Dimitrov will be also on court action against Canada's Diallo. That game also kicks off at around 7:30 this evening. This is as far as the round of 16 is concerned for the Madrid Open. A lot of excitement in that regard. Of course, hopefully the lights are back. The lights are back in Madrid and Spain, just to ensure that matches do go on as prescribed. Speaking about matches going on as prescribed, of course, the UEFA Champions League does continue this evening with more matches. Of course, semi-final leg 1 took place yesterday between Arsenal and Paris Saint-Germain. Of course, the tournament does continue this evening as Barcelona will play host to Inter Milano this evening. And an interesting game as far as the semi-finals, the first leg semi-finals of the UEFA Champions League is concerned. Winner of these two matches, yesterday's match and tonight's match, in both legs, will of course book their spot in Berlin for the final of the UEFA Champions League. Alongside with that, the there are other matches to look out for as far as our continental football is concerned, more so on home soil. Here's a look at some of the Betway Premiership matches to look out for this evening. Orlando Pirates will lock horns against Kokune United in what is said to be Jose Rivera's last matches for the Sea Robbers. Of course, he will then shift his attention after tonight's game to the big one that takes place this weekend, the Soweto Derby out in the FNB Stadium, which of course I will see Soweto Giants and Soweto rivals Orlando Pirates taking on Kaizer Chiefs. But nonetheless, before that, this evening as well, Stellenbosch Football Club take on Chippa United. Orlando Pirates, of course, Orlando Pirates, as mentioned, also in action. Of course, our defending league champions, Mamelodi Sundowns, will be in action against the Natal Rich Boys of Richards Bay Football Club this evening. All matches as far as the Betway Premiership is scheduled kick-off at around 7:30 this evening. That's my story for today. Back again tomorrow. No, tomorrow is Workers' Day. Back again on Friday. But until then, that's enough said.